people? It's XOX. I'm sorry I didn't post a video yesterday like I said I would do on Friday, but I had some delays. But now that I'm here, let's get into this. Okay, if you remember a previous video when I was talking about my thoughts on the Ruby Ice Queendom trailer, I decided to give a good shot at the show and basically check out some of the episodes. Crunchyroll decided to release them sooner, early, rather than just do it later. However, episode 4 will be released much later. So, since now that I'm here, I need to give you guys my thoughts on these first few episodes. Let's get into this. So this episode starts out with Rwby basically standing over the stone, and then Yang shows up, and then they have a little conversation about this place that they're headed to. We'll get to that in a minute. And then as the other scene, we get a closure of Wes. If I pronounce her name wrong, guys, I apologize. But we get to this closure of the episode of her basically training and fighting some kind of thing. I'll be honest with you guys, too, I guess it's somewhat episodic, maybe, because if you look at the previous show's storyline arcs and when they first featured, they kind of mashed it all up in 3 episodes. So, it's too early to decide how the show is, obviously, because it's just 3 episodes in, eventually 4 once they get to the next one. But it's kind of mashing it up, I guess, to rush for everything, obviously. So, anyhow, we basically get to this thing of her fighting this thing you can see right here for training and going about how she wants to, do better, basically practice more on her abilities and knowing how to master it. Also, shout out to Monty Ohm, the one who made this whole Rwby thing. Bless his heart. So, basically here we get closer to her, getting a scar and all that and training. And then we get to Blake and this dude. Sorry if I'm not familiar with him. But apparently her tribe is on the run. And then apparently Blake decides to go her own direction because, well, she kind of wants to find her own path. And Purpose says that once she sees what's really going on, then she'll come back to them. And then, well, from there, she basically goes solo. But not without showing some incredible skills, of course. And then we're back to Wes, or however you pronounce her name. She basically destroys that giant armor thing. Then, pretty much from that scene, she goes on about how she wants to, excel in her powers. And then we get a cut to this beautiful town, as you can see. This does look kind of nice at night, especially that moon looking like, well, it is kind of breaking apart, isn't it? I was going to say it's looking like it's breaking apart, but it's totally breaking apart. So Ruby's just walking, and then, sure enough, she stumbles upon a crime scene. Okay, here's what I'm just going to have to just make it quicker, because like I said, I'm pretty sure some of you guys, if you haven't watched the original, and those some of you who haven't, in that same scene where she's like, you're robbing me, and then kicked all the robbers' asses. And kind of gets introduced to, what's the name of the guy with the orange hair, with the hat on his top? Godin, right? No, Roman. Roman. So apparently we get introduced to him a lot quicker. We don't see Neo, so she's not in the mix just yet. We get like a cameo of Cinder in the blimp, but that's as far as we go with that. And then, also, I had to mention we get introduced to a lot more characters a lot sooner, so no, I already said that. Because they just showed Ozpin and some lady with the glasses. I didn't catch her that well, but basically, you're basically, like I said, rushing everything, so we can get to the point of this. Then this scene, they're basically all in this class that I was mentioning earlier now. As you can see, here's Blake. And here's Weiss. I'm sorry, guys. So they're all on this little class trip together. Like I said, those of you who've seen the show with the CGI format. Well, to be honest, this is somewhat CGI, but then they kind of combine 2D with 3D, so there's that too. But anyway, they're basically all on this trip, and they're gonna go fight some of these rim thingies in the later episode. And then to the left, that Weiss is pointing to, obviously, is John of Arc. His his interaction with her too also is kind of not really like I said. Since they rush everything, this also means they kind of rush the relationship. So because rush a relationship, it doesn't quite have the same impact like it would in the original. But I mean, like I already said, it's too soon to be saying how the show's going to go. So I mean, I'm not going to just prejudge it. You have to see where it goes first. And now it's episode 2. And well, I did kind of have to go through it because, like I said, they did kind of rush it the previous arc. So, anyways, in episode 2, basically, this is the part where they go fight the Grims. And they pretty much started off the head start. Also, guys, I'm kind of curious to see where he went with these. Wait a minute, Osmond's dead. Well, at least the original. Since this is a different adaptation, not so much yet. I'm sorry to say that, but yeah, I just kind of questioned their fate's point in the original, anyway. John here basically starts falling because he made a freaking mistake. Then Pyrrha throws a spear to save his ass and manages to, land, hopefully. And then, for some reason, Weiss here, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. For some reason, Weiss here, and, well, it's mainly Weiss is getting kind of salty for some reason. I don't know why, because Rwby can apparently use her semblance, and I guess she can't. I don't know. It just kind of. Because so far, these two kind of go at it a little bit, because she mentioned her acting like a child, then they have to kind of work things out. Then, as soon as John would meet his fate, this shadowy figure that's standing right in front of him is Pyrrha, since they both basically decided to team up. And from there, they kind of get along very easily, actually. I mean, I guess it makes sense, because they were both pretty chill when they were showing up, so I mean, that's pretty much why they don't really bicker too much. So they decide to team up and take on the Grimm to, basically show off their skills and the aura, or whatever you want to call it. Well, it is called aura, so never mind. Then Yang does some action on her own. Can I be honest? I was kind of like at this point, I kind of want to see what Yang looked like doing something in this kind of thing. I mean, of course, since this is basically an anime from Crunchyroll. Yeah, I was always kind of figuring how this would look, considering what she can do and whatnot. Now that we're finally at it here, well, it got kind of interesting. So yeah, I we would see Yang fight this Grim thingy, and then Blake showed up and kind of took it down for her. Well, not for her, but just kind of did immediately. Okay, listen, I know this doesn't look right, but what happened was that because their teamwork isn't exactly cooperative, they both kind of bumped into each other when they were both trying to fight the Grim thing. That's what happened here, guys. I mean, those of you who've watched probably already know that already, so yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then Weiss tells her to get down because she's going to do a freaking fire blast, which basically creates forest fires. Only you can prevent forest fires. And unfortunately, Weiss is the one who caused them. Then in this part, they basically, one of them is to pull out these relic things, I guess we call them. Because it's all part of the test, obviously. And basically, they do just that. And then from there, and in this scene, they're just doing a move. Also, I remember some people complaining that because of the CGI format fights, and because this is semi-CGI format style, then the fights, they mention it's not as spectacular as the CGI format. I mean, I can understand that because it'd be hard to put that on a different screen. But, I mean, give it time, they might improve over a while. So, I mean, like I said, it's too soon to be saying what's up about this adaptation of Rwby, Ice Queen. And so here, basically, is the part where they format the teams and how they get the name Rwby. Here, as you can see in J and PR, I'm not sure. Well, I mean, that's about as all I can go because I can't put those two words together. Here's the part where they basically get formed. Then that was the end of episode 2. Now we're on episode 3, y'all. The girls here are chilling and about to get in their next adventure. And also about to do some more training. So in the next scene, basically, they fight a Grim inside the school. So they go through all these sessions of training onto, show which teams get the good skill. And then basically, essentially, we get up to this point where John and her have basically this romantic evening. And apparently the others seem to kind of ship the relationship. There's more pauses, but doesn't Waste look kind of cute? But point is, John Arc apparently has this action that keeps increasing every time his abilities are used, apparently. Then it gets pretty bad to where apparently Waste has it too. She also has some kind of infection that's pretty much just like John Arc's one. Then John has this weird hallucination. I guess it's a part of the infection where he starts seeing stuff and then acts out. And everyone's like, "What's wrong?" And then they're like, he was having a bad dream or something like that." So it just kind of gets out of hand, and then he ends up in the nurse's office. I think that's what I call it, because they're checking up on him to see what's up with him, and well, obviously they have no clue. So then they all basically see this infection that's been spreading all over his body. According to Pura, feeling his semblance, aka or also his aura. She mentioned it didn't feel right. Something was wrong with it, and this is basically the cause of it. Of course, they don't understand fully what's going on, but I mean, it's hard seeing how far it's spread it all over him. So, of course, they've seen how far it can spread, and this infection is spread all over his body, and they've seen how far it's gone towards him. So, they've decided to basically, get treatment, and apparently this witch doctor, I guess I call her, is treating him with those purple fingernails of hers and a purple sleeve with a black end on it. Then they're using the Simless thing to basically help him with this infection, of course. But what happens is, apparently what his infection is also affecting him mentally, because here he's growing younger and younger to a child in his stage in his head. So, as you can see right here, his eye looks like a kid. And then they show up to help him, break free from this bullet infection. Then he starts getting back to the age that he looks now, instead of then. Then they were able to basically, escape from this thing. That apparently is one of those grim things that was affecting him. That's why his semblance and everything was all messed up. And as you can see, his purple rope seer grabs it and pretty much captures it. So now this darn thing is stuck in there, so that way it can't, affect anyone or him anymore, basically. And as you can see, now he's back to himself and doesn't have that lines everywhere. It seems like Pura. It seems like West, or how you say that bitch's name. Apparently, too, she's affected with one, but it hasn't made her do anything like this yet so far. So we're gonna definitely get to that later, probably. Then this scene, apparently Blake meets Wukong, that monkey guy. Apparently, this scene kind of blushes over him, and it definitely just goes like, "Oh, wow, he's so gorgeous." So Blakey here is just chilling on a rooftop after getting to argue, the team that she's on. And apparently she gets into some infuriation with Wes. Guess is on the rooftop, the man of her dreams, Hong Kong. So she starts to have a conversation about some Kong, about her team and all that stuff's gone downhill. And then in this scene, well, actually, Blake decides to fight Rome. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Blake decides to fight Roman. And then he bounces just that fast. Damn. How much we had child support? Now it's like, oh, you left that just that fast. I'm like, what the hell? Well, then the scene ends with what happens similar to Wes, like what happened with John of Arc. Or made John Arc, sorry. So basically, as you guys can see from the episode, the show is looking good for its adaptation. Like I said, he did rush a few things. That's why I kind of skipped some of it, because some of you guys already seen that in the original show. So I was like, well, I'm not going to just have you go through that again, right? And people complain that the fight scenes aren't as good to pair with the CGI one. But again, like I said, that's just like the start of it. So, I mean, we have to first see where the show goes first in order to decide. Prayer is probably going to die a lot sooner. But I mean, I hate to say that, but that might actually be the case. And, well, considering that this is just the beginning, and we've already been introduced to Roman, we haven't seen Neo so far. I mean, I can't wait to see what kind of fights we have to go off. So, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to more. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the show if you've watched it? or if you're planning to watch it after looking at this vid, well, let me know. Let me know. Like, subscribe, and see you guys later.